Do you need to tell a new partner everything about your past? My answer to that is not necessarily. Now, I know there's some people that are going to absolutely disagree with me, but there's some of you that are going to agree with me, especially if you watch this video until the end. My hope is that it would give you pause to actually think about this more seriously and then come to a decision for yourself that suits you. All right, so I'm Naidoo, life and relationship coach, and this channel, Creating Epic Relationships, is all about helping you create the most epic relationship for yourself. If this appeals to you, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and the bell notification because you'll get notified every time there's a new video. So let's get on to this one. So when we start a new relationship, usually there's the attraction, it's fun, it's exciting, it's light. Two people are so into each other, maybe falling in love, and they want to give the best of who they are to the other person. And they see the best in the other person, right? And if we really, really like that person, we're even trying to impress them. But at some point, the question comes up, like, why did you get divorced? Now, there could be various reasons for that, right? Maybe you or the other person had an affair. Maybe it was drugs or alcohol or gambling, or maybe you got fired from a job or you didn't have a steady income. Whatever the reason was, breakdown in communication, whatever that reason was, when somebody asks you that question, how much should you be revealing? Now, to answer that question, we have to first understand that there are two different types of people when it comes to relationships, right? In terms of something that went wrong in the past. The first type is the person that would have made some changes using their willpower. All right? So let's say somebody used to abuse alcohol in the past, and they use their willpower to stop. Right? Or if it was someone that had a few affairs, they used their willpower to say, no, this is wrong. I'm never going to do this again. And they use their willpower, right? To stop that behavior that they had in the past. But they haven't really done the work to find out why they are actually making those kind of choices. The second type of person is the person that had the exact same circumstances, right? The same choices. In this video, I'm going to use the example of an affair because we are talking about relationships here, right? So let's say you or the person you're starting to date had an affair in the past. So they are asking you, if you're simply going to say, yes, I had an affair, that is not going to create a strong relationship going forward. In fact, that is the point that person's going to run away, most likely. So the second type of person is the one that would have done the inner work. So you stop, you look at this and you say, why did I do that? That is not me. It goes against my core values. I know I'm a good person, but I really made a bad choice there. Right? So when you are talking about this, it is not, yes, I had an affair. It is about the story. Because someone who took that circumstance, that event, and turned it into a personal development opportunity is going to come out of that and be a completely different person. So how does that happen? So you look at that and you say, why did I make that choice? Yes, it was a choice and I'm going to own it. So I'm not saying I had an affair because my wife stopped loving me, or my wife was very affectionate before, but she's not affectionate anymore. Or my husband, is not paying me the kind of attention he used to pay to me. Or maybe he's not earning enough money to sustain our lifestyle. He's not being responsible. When when we start off telling the story in that way, we are trying to put the blame somewhere else. When you're starting a new relationship, that ex is not in the picture, shouldn't be in the picture. So when you start by saying, when my partner stopped paying attention to me, or when I felt that my partner didn't love me, I chose to look for that in a new person. I didn't fix it, but I chose to find that in a new person. So I went out and I found the love that was missing. I found the attention, the acknowledgement, the fun, the excitement, the aliveness. I found that in another person. All right, so that when you say I did that, that is you owning the problem. You're taking responsibility for that. And then, it came to light. Both relationships didn't survive that because it was so difficult, so much drama, so much pain, agony, and that's what led to the divorce. But what did you do after that? You owned the problem, and then you said, I never want to be in that kind of situation again. That went against my own values. So what did you do? I asked for help and I worked through it. I found the root cause of that problem. Why did that happen? And then I got to understand what I could have done differently, right? If I felt I wasn't being loved, I worked on my own self-love to a point that I'm overflowing with love. So I'm not looking for someone else to come in and love me. I'm looking to share my immense love with someone who also loves themselves to that level. If it was self-esteem, I couldn't ask for what it is I want. I did the work, and now I'm clearer on who I am, what it is I have to offer, and what it is I want in a relationship. I'm very clear about that. I've worked on my communication. So now going forward, if there's a problem, I know I will be able to ask for what it is I want. I will be able to tell the other person when something's wrong, something's missing. Right? So this is the inner work that I've done so that I am now a different person. I am no longer the person that got into the affair years ago. I'm a completely different person. Can you see the difference between talking about an event and telling your story, your journey? So when you meet a new person, instead of asking them, why did you get divorced? Did you have an affair? Then you're a bad person and we're judging somebody. Remember, when someone is completely happy within themselves, when you're feeling whole, complete, when you feel like your life has purpose and meaning, when you have high self-esteem, you know who you are, you have certainty, that kind of person would never, ever have an affair. All right? So the journey that someone goes from being that person that was lost, alone, that didn't know any better, that couldn't communicate, couldn't ask for what they wanted, that person that chose to go in and have the affair, and the person that you may be today, or the person you're sitting with today, is a completely different person because of the work that they've done, because they've grown so much. Right? That person is going to make completely different choices in the future going forward. And if you're the person listening to the story, you met somebody, you're in a new relationship, and that person is telling you the story that I've just told, it is for us to remain open and to listen and trust our gut. Do we feel this is somebody that hasn't done the work, that did this from willpower? Because if it is purely on willpower and they're saying, oh, I learned my lesson, I'm never going to do that again. If it's purely on willpower, they're going to still be blaming the ex for why they did that, right? And if it's purely on willpower, at some point in the future, when the outside pressure begins to grow and build, this person is likely to make the same choice again. It's just like with alcohol or with drugs, when we use willpower to stop ourselves from doing those things, at some point in the future, when the pressure is too much, that is going to become our go-to. That's where we're going to go. All right? So when you do the inner work, when you find the root cause of the problem and you address it at that level and you become a different person because of that, now, when you move forward, you are most likely never going to repeat that behavior or those choices. All right? So I know some of you are not going to agree with me and you're going to say, no, we need to tell it all. But tell it all from what perspective? A person needs to earn the right to hear your story. If you go out on a first date and someone says, oh, so why did you get divorced? You're not going to talk about the deeper stuff with someone that you've just met. You say to them, that's a story for a fourth or fifth date when we really know each other a lot better. You're not going to ever lie about it. If someone says, did you have an affair in the past? And you did. And yes, you may have done all of the work and you're a new person today, but we never lie about it. You will say, yes, I did. And you will tell your story. But you tell your story to someone you feel that you can trust, who will hear the story from the space that you are telling it, right? And not sit there in judgment of you. The reason I decided to do this video, as much as I know there's going to be a lot of controversy about it, people are going to say, no, hell no, you need to go out and tell everything. You need to be completely honest, completely open, and all of that. I know that most people think that way, and that's going to come up. But this channel is dedicated to people that want to create relationships that are deeply meaningful, that are not surface level. So I can't talk to you about topics that are surface level. I can't say, oh yes, you must go and tell everything up front. People must take you as you are. And no, there's so much more. Relationships are never black and white. It's never that, it has to be this way or that way. Each person is unique, which makes each relationship completely unique. You need to know that this is somebody I can trust to tell my story to, that they've earned the right to hear my story. And that is when you tell your story to that person. It's not upfront. If you're meeting someone for the first time and they're asking these types of questions, why are they asking it? Is it because they're coming from a fear of getting hurt? Why are they asking it? Do they want to judge you and say, yes, I want to take the next step, no, I don't? We want to make these quick decisions. That's so sad about the world that we live in. We want to make these instant decisions, and that's why all of the dating apps don't work, because we look at people's faces and we want to swipe right or left on someone's face instead of taking the time and saying, let's slow this down. Let me really know who you are today. When I meet a new person, I want to know, who are you now? Can you be real and can you be authentic now? I want to see this person. I want to see your magnificence, all the wonderful things about you. But I also want to see your dark side. I also want to see the things you're struggling with, the things that you want to change and the areas where you want to grow and evolve. I want to see that too. Then I know that you're real. Then I know you're the real deal. You're somebody that I want to get to know better, right? So give this some thought. If you got any value from this video at all, give it a thumbs up, and I'd love to hear some of your comments below. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.